This week, Squarespace is giving a 1-year subscription away free to build your own website. So in honor of Ryan Holiday, the obstacle is the way. Tweet me your obstacle, the one in your life that you overcame or you're about to. Use the hashtag obstacle. I'll pick the best one and you'll win. Now get typing. Peace. And what did you do for American Apparel? Like if you had to condense or explain to someone what you did in those 4 years for them, what was some of the big things?
I mean, there's a bunch. So you're either talking organizationally or strategically or creatively, but like I think I took a relatively scattered, sort of chaotic, throw everything at the wall kind of mentality, and we created processes. We created a sort of a strategy for the advertisements. I mostly focus on online, but sort of a strategy and like a set of metrics to judge what we were doing. I built all sorts of initiatives, created all sorts of programs that they still do. It was about, American Apparel is a huge company and it always has been, but since it's got a founder, CEO, majority shareholder, it's much more like a small, like almost family-run business than any company like it. So you would have been, I think, shocked or surprised to see, what the company was doing in 2007, 2008. I think maybe, late 2007, early 2008. You would have been shocked at how big an impact just like, hey, let's put all the marketing people in one office would be. Like, right. Hey, where are we running? Are these the best place? What are the programs that we can put into place? Like, we were one of the first major companies to start working with fashion bloggers, which now we have relationships with people who've gone on, now have audiences in the millions. It would be like if some sponsor reached out to you on your first episode, and then as the show grew, they sort of get grandfathered in at various rates, and like they're sort of a friend of the show. We built those relationships 7 years ago now that are paying huge dividends today that allow the company to be a $700 million a year sort of sales machine that sells 50 million garments, but have a microscopic marketing budget compared to most fashion brands.
And what were some of the chances you took online, and what were some of the metrics? I know that's kind of a very Ferriss thing to do, isn't it? To have those metrics and really
Look, we ran naked online ads with Sasha Grey. We created, we did all sorts of ridiculous stuff. We did things that we knew would make people talk, because the worst thing that can happen with your ads, which you're paying for people to see, is that they don't see them or they immediately ignore them. Right. So for us, it was like, okay, one of the things American Apparel has done since the beginning is it's tended to focus on like a handful of publications. Let's say like LA Weekly in Los Angeles. And it advertises on the back page of LA Weekly almost every week. And so people know that the ad is there and they look for it. It's like this piece of content that's like, hey, what's the American Apparel ad? So it was like, how do we recreate that online? What are the sites? One of the metrics I always would think about is like, if we stopped advertising on this site, would anyone care?
It's a great question. A lot of people should ask.
Yeah, and like, if they didn't, then we're either not spending enough money, or we shouldn't spend any money, or we're not running the right ads. And so it was like, how do we do things that make people, how do we do ads, especially online, that are so interesting and so cool and so unusual that they get free publicity? And that those were sort of the strategies that we did, and I mean, they're still paying off now.
Did people copy that right away in your mind?
No, I think most people are too afraid to do that. And it's like most fashion companies, the reality is they don't need to. When you pay a worker in Bangladesh in a factory that could collapse and kill all of them at any moment, 18 cents an hour, you're fine buying, $2 million a week in television ads, or you're fine running a Super Bowl ad, or you're fine just blanketing the internet with mediocre stuff, because so you don't need to take those creative risks, because you can just beat people over the head. And American Apparel can't do that.
Right, because everything is made in America, right?
Yeah. So like our money goes to the people who make the clothes, and then we can't give it to CBS or as much of it as the fashion playbook would suggest.
Right, and you didn't have as much to lose because you weren't such a long established brand with a specific image you had to worry about.
Yeah, and also the guy making the decision is the owner and the guy who took the photos and is
fully on board.
Yeah, and is just in general a bit of a maverick in terms of caring about what other people think. Okay.
We take real pride in our websites and who we work with on the show, and those are the guys at Squarespace. They've been running our website londonreal.tv and our siliconreal.com for over a year now, and they are an all-in-one platform to make it fast and easy to build your own professional website or portfolio. These guys have the tech down. It's drag and drop. It is easy. I used to run a WordPress site, and I used to have to FTP audio files and all this nonsense. And now when you see these blogs that I write every week where I talk to you about my personal impressions of the guests, I literally just bust those out, drop the picture in, boom, and it's done.